if I told you Paraguay's World Cup dream started turning into a nightmare after just 7 minutes? Not halftime, not the second half, 7 minutes. Because when the United States opened their home World Cup against Paraguay, nobody expected what happened next. An own goal, a record-breaking performance, a controversial VAR moment, and one American striker who suddenly announced himself to the entire football world. This wasn't just a victory. It was a statement. And by the final whistle, people weren't asking whether the USA could survive this group. They were asking something much bigger. Could this team actually go far in the tournament? Imagine preparing for a World Cup for years. The anthem plays. The stadium is packed. Millions are watching. Then, 7 minutes later, your team scores. Into the wrong net. Paraguay's Damian Bobadilla accidentally turned the ball into his own goal, handing the USA an early lead. Suddenly, the entire game changed. The American crowd exploded. Paraguay looked shaken, and the pressure started building immediately. Because in a World Cup, chasing the game is dangerous. Chasing the game against the host nation, even worse. Then came Folarin Balogun, and Paraguay simply had no answer. First, he thought he had scored. Then, VAR ruled it out. Most players would be frustrated. Balogun got angry. Football angry. A few minutes later, he found the net again. This time, it counted. Then, just before halftime, he scored again. 2 goals. 1 World Cup match. The first American player to achieve that feat since 1930. Not bad for an evening's work. At halftime, the score was 3-0, and Paraguay looked stunned. Just when things couldn't get stranger, the referees got involved. Early in the second half, a foul was awarded to Paraguay. A yellow card was shown. Play restarted. Everything seemed normal. Then, VAR stepped in. After a review, the original decision was reversed and the call was changed, creating one of the first major refereeing controversies of the tournament. Fans were confused. Commentators were debating. Social media immediately went into full detective mode. Because nothing brings football fans together quite like arguing about referees. To their credit, Paraguay didn't quit. In the 73rd minute, they finally found a way back into the game. For a brief moment, hope returned. Maybe there could be a comeback. Maybe the Americans would panic. Maybe the momentum would change. But the USA stayed calm, something that previous American teams have sometimes struggled to do. Instead of collapsing under pressure, they controlled the game and waited for another opportunity. Then came the final punch. Deep into stoppage time, Gio Reyna produced a brilliant finish that sent the stadium into celebration mode. 4-1. Game over, history made. The United States scored 4 goals in a World Cup match for the first time ever. And suddenly, this wasn't just an opening win. It was one of the most impressive World Cup performances the country had ever produced. Paraguay learned that mistakes get punished quickly at World Cups. Balogun announced himself as a serious threat. The USA showed they can play attacking football on the biggest stage. And the rest of Group D just received a warning. Because if this version of the United States keeps playing like this, the tournament may have a new dark horse. And that's exactly why everybody is talking about this match.